Hello, top 10s, 20s, 30s, 50s, 40s, everything here. And in this video I'm going to be showing you top 10 things about the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Stay tuned. Number 10. Take a real good look at the iPhone 7. Looks like an iPhone 6s, right? Well, yeah, and partially no. Apple has mostly stuck with the same exterior design, so in terms of shape, it's near identical to the iPhone 6 and 6s Plus. Sure, there are a few minor differences, and some bigger ones too, like the lack of a headphone jack, more on below. The two quite unsightly plastic channels on the back of the phone are gone, but the general look is still very much the same. And from a distance, you might find it hard to tell any of the last three generations of iPhone apart, unless you're talking about color, of course. Number 9. The headphone jack hits the road. We said it would happen. You were all pissed about it. Apple didn't give a fuck anyway. The iPhone 7 does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's a big deal, and it's likely to upset a fair amount of people, even if Apple was thoughtful enough to give us Lightning to 3.5mm adapter, but you don't want to lug that around with you everywhere. Like, do you? It's just better to pick up some Bluetooth buds or buy a new set of Lightning cable headphones, which Apple luckily has a pair of its own. But the AirPods are wireless, so that'll rock for 5 hours on a single charge, but it looks like a pair of rabbit ears, so better just get the Lightning cable headphones. And then the obvious question is, why did they remove the headphone jack at all? Well, apparently it's not good for keeping water out, and it does affect the thickness quite a bit. Number 8. It's waterproof. How many iPhones have met their maker at the bottom of a toilet, pinned glass, swimming pool? Well, good news, iFans. That won't happen with the iPhone 7. That's because it's the very first Apple phone that is waterproof. Yeah, that's right. It'll shrug off spills and even survive a dunking if you have an accident. The waterproof seals will keep the delicate insides bits safe from moisture, so you won't get caught short in the rain. And dust won't even be a problem, because the whole thing is sealed, and the IP67 rating means that there aren't really any holes for sand and grit to hide in. So you're safe. Number 7. The camera kicks things up a notch. Just like last year, there are still a few differences between the iPhone 7 and its bigger brother, but there are still a few upgrades you want to keep an eye on. First up, there's optical image stabilization. It was only on the iPhone 6s before, but now it's on the mainstream model too, and it's still rocking a 12 megapixel sensor, but it's 60% faster now and with 30% more energy efficiency. No more drained battery life if you're a bit of a hard user. And the lens has a wider f1.8 aperture now, which lets in a lot more light than last year's model. And it's paired with a true tone flash like before, only it's got 4 LEDs now, for 50% more light in dark scenes. So this is a really big upgrade, and the anti-flicker should adjust the shutter to cope with the artificial light too. The front-facing camera had a bit of an upgrade too. It's got a 7 megapixel FaceTime HD sensor. Number 6. The iPhone 7 Plus gets its zoom on. On top of the regular 12 megapixel lens, the iPhone 7 Plus has a second 56mm telephoto lens compared to the standard 28mm lens. This lets Apple work wonders with zoom. There's still a new button that appears in the camera app 1 times. Press this and you are going to enjoy 2 times lossless zoom, thanks to that second telephoto lens. However, you can drag this button up all the way to 10 times zoom without any apparent loss in quality. And pretty much Apple kept quiet on the actual details, but it did confirm that this new advanced zooming is possible as a result of mixture between both lenses and some clever software. If it delivers, this could very well be the best smartphone camera that has been ever made. So, we are very excited. Oh, and one more thing, the iPhone 7 Plus makes use of both lenses and some clever software tricks to power a new portrait mode. This means it automatically detects a person's face, blurring the background via software, giving a reasonably convincing DSLR-like bokeh effect. Number 5. The screen adds a splash of color. Now Apple's borrowed some screen tech from the iPad Pro 9.7, giving the iPhone 7 a more natural looking display. That's because it's got a wide color gamut, which gives better color saturation and in turn a more vivid, lifelike pictures and video. Combined with the camera, which captures photos in white color, your pics should practically jump off the screen. Now Apple says it will be celebrating every phone as it leaves the factory, and iOS will manage the display's color accuracy for the best possible quality. It'll be a hot contest to see how Apple calibrated LCD stacks up against Samsung's OLED. And as well, 3D Touch is on board just like the last year models, if you're wondering. Number 4. We finally say good riddance to the 16GB models. So now it's pointless for iPhone to be 16GB because literally everyone stores that much. So Apple has decided to put a new upgrade. The base model is now 32GB with options for 128GB and a new 256GB model. And yeah, 256GB is a lot for a phone. It's literally more storage than most Apple laptops. In fact, so props to the company for catering to power users such as myself. Number 3, it's a performance powerhouse. Another year, another iPhone, and another impressive processor baked directly in Apple's own kitchen. This time we've got all the new A10 and a surprise, surprise, it's Apple's and possibly the world's most powerful smartphone processor. The numbers are impressive. We're looking at a quad-core beast with 2 high-performance cores which are 40% faster than the equivalent found at the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. Not only that, but they run at a higher efficiency, sucking up a lot less power. The other 2 cores use upon 1/5 of the power of the more powerful cores and are used for less intensive tasks, helping to preserve battery life for as much as possible. And you can't talk about processors without throwing a sexy GPU into the mix. And Mr. Apple's new 6-core beast is 50% faster than the graphical grunt found at the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. As well as this, Apple promises, yet again, that is console level gaming, which apparently is a big fucking sell, man. So we have to wait to see what gaming goodies the App Store will throw our way in the near future. Number 2, it's had a battery boost. Now Apple really never reveals the exact size of its iPhone batteries, and this year it's pretty much nothing different. Unsurprisingly though, we were promised the best iPhone battery life ever. This is in quotes. This is of course rather vague, but a figure of 2 hours longer than the 6s and 6s Plus was mentioned. Now we are definitely going to have to wait for our full review to see if Apple is selling us this true picture. But with more efficient processors, we wouldn't be surprised if this claim will come true. That's what we hope at least. And number 1, the Touch ID button is all haptic now. The home button hasn't been axed just yet, but it has had a serious under-the-hood makeover. It's not just a button anymore, instead it has been given the same magical Force Touch treatment which graces the trackpad on the new MacBook. That means it can detect how hard you're pressing it, adjusting its feedback with vibrations supplied by an all-new Taptic engine, which can deliver customized vibrations for things like notifications and apps, force feedback for games, anyone? And in all honesty, it doesn't sound massively useful right now, but that's mostly because we haven't even been shown what it can actually do, or what benefits it can really bring to the table. But still, we're looking forward to finding out. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, comment for one of these videos. I'm trying to fix up my commentary because I know it's kind of rusty right now, but thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.